I am pumped for this week, and I hope you guys are too. In today's video, we have some very important and just crazy things to talk about related to Apple, Zoom, Unity, and the market overall. Apple had a giant conference today where some people are saying they actually, this is one of the biggest launches since the iPhone. So in today's video, we're definitely going to cover all of this crazy new technology with Apple, but also we're going to cover some awesome setups for tomorrow. So make sure to stick with us. But Tom, let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, I will say the Apple event today took the market by storm. It was the Worldwide Developers Conference, and man, Apple unveiled a headset, Mike, and this is a headset unlike any other that I've seen. I mean, the way that this thing works, it's so anti-lag. There's so many cool things about this headset. So the first thing is that you can see through it, like I said, with almost no visual lag, which is very important. It really helps you, be able to look around a little bit better. And as you can see here, it's also like an augmented reality / VR headset. So, there's a lot of headsets out there trying to perfect this. And I think Apple, at least with what we're seeing initially, has done it the right way. Some of these things where you can see them playing video games on this in the middle of their living room is awesome. Like if you could really buy this and do this, that would be amazing with perfect pass-through to see the outside and your living room and things in the background. I saw videos where they were talking about, doing like cooking with like stats and stuff like that on the side and being able to message people while you're doing it. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And they're actually partnering with Disney as well, which was awesome. I will say Apple stock did not do very well, Mike. As we know, it's very high right now, but Disney really benefited from this. I mean, they're partnering with them and there's so many things that they can do. And I'll go ahead and play a little video here that really shows, what this is capable of. And here's it coming from Tim Cook himself.
Introducing Apple Vision Pro. Vision Pro is a new kind of computer that augments reality by seamlessly blending the real world with the digital world. It's the first Apple product you look through and not at. Vision Pro feels familiar, yet it's entirely new. You can see, hear, and interact with digital content just like it's in your physical space. And you control Vision Pro using the most natural and intuitive tools, your eyes, hands, and voice.
Listen to that, guys. You control this headset with your eyes, hands, and voice. You do not need your phone, controllers, or anything like that to control this headset. And that is what blows my mind with this, Mike. Like the tech that we're seeing with these headsets is becoming insane. Like if we go back here a little bit to these apps on the screen, it essentially knows where you're looking. It's going to follow your eyes and know that you want to go to Safari. And then you can click your hands and it'll take you right there. If you want to scroll, you move your hands up and down and it does that. And we can go see some of these amazing workspaces. Like, look at this, Mike. This is like having a multi-monitor setup for a computer that would cost you way more than $3,500 for this headset, pending the power of the computer that you bought. But look at all the stuff going on, the messaging on the left, the news in the middle, or the articles. Then on the right, they obviously have their iCloud stuff. Like, man, this is awesome, Mike. It's some of the best technology that I've seen in a long time. But like I said, Apple's stock is really lagging from it, but the tech seems very cool.
Yeah, so Tom, I know you're absolutely fascinated with this, and yeah, the technology is just really cool and something that we really haven't seen before. And I know that these headset type devices are, there's like a giant race to see which big tech company can make the best headset. I know Apple's a big competitor, but also Meta. There's a lot of hype expected out of them as well, and a lot of other big tech companies. So keep that in mind. But I bet everyone's looking at Apple stock right now and being like, all right, you have this awesome news, this great technology, but why the hell is the stock falling, right? And from what I saw, a lot of analysts are saying that the headset is a little bit too pricey for, the average consumer, coming in at $3,500 just to start off. And we don't even know how much like the upgraded version will be and all the extra add-ons and all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is a big price, $3,500. Now, I will say, like, whenever you look at like tech and you look at the price of laptops and computers and stuff like that, like if you look up like a standard MacBook right now, like one of the cheaper ones, you can get it for anywhere from like, $800 to $1,200, depending on pricing and stuff. Man, I mean, that is quite a bit for a headset like this. Like you said, it's definitely not something that the standard user is going to get. But I think that the people who out there who really love tech, and I think that once this comes out and once we start to see the content coming out with it, I think it's going to really drive more buyers into it. Like, I'll be really surprised to see what this does at Christmas. So it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, it says beginning early next year. So obviously, I mean the Christmas after this year. But it's really cool to see still, Mike. I mean, I think it's going to drive in a lot of hype for Apple and even for the other stocks that we mentioned. Like, they're partnering with Disney. They even mentioned Unity, and Unity stock blasted up. Like, man, to see Unity up this much is insane. They're actually up 17%. And it's just off of like a little mention in the video there. I mean, that's huge.
Exactly. So definitely keep some stocks like Unity, Apple, Zoom, stuff like that, Disney on watch over the next couple days. They're seeing a bunch of volume flow into them. But Tom, what do we have for tomorrow and the rest of this week in terms of earnings and other exciting economic events?
Yeah, enough nerding out about Apple there. But yeah, on the economic schedule, there's really not too much here, which is good. This is going to be good. Maybe we'll actually see some good price action out of the overall market. Don't have to worry about too many events there. On the earnings for tomorrow, we really have Dave & Buster's, Stitch Fix, really not too much on the radar. Wednesday, though, we're going to have GameStop and then Campbell's Soup. Those two are pretty big. Thursday, FCEL, Fuel Cell Energy. A lot of people like to hype that one up sometimes. DocuSign, Thursday and after hours, and then NEO on Friday. So ending the week, we will have some fun ones, but I don't think it's going to be really market breaking, Mike. The big thing right now is going to be this event with Apple, I think, and how some of these stocks continue to move into tomorrow, like Disney and a few others. And honestly, it was just a great day for a lot of stocks in the market. I even noticed that the China stocks had really good days.
There we go. All right, Tom. Well, now we have to start talking about some of these awesome setups for tomorrow. One stock I'm watching very closely is Zoom, ticker symbol ZM. This stock had a pretty solid day today, even with the market overall falling down. And there are a couple things that are pretty exciting with this one. The first thing is that they're actually launching new AI-powered features, and we all know how hyped up AI is right now in the market. Basically, any company can mention anything with AI, and the stock starts booming. But on top of that, Apple actually had some mentions of some video conferencing today at their WWDC event, like we were talking about a couple minutes ago, and that definitely helped Zoom as well. And then on top of that, Zoom has basically no correlation to the overall market, and it's seeing some awesome volume flow into it. So I actually really like the setup on this one, and I'm going to be watching it very closely to the upside, not only for tomorrow, but throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, this one's awesome. It seems like it really broke this big recent resistance here around 68.50 to 69, and it's holding well above it here at the end of day. So if we continue to hold here, I also really like Zoom, Mike. I know it's one of our I shouldn't say like one of our favorites, but obviously it's one of the stocks we talked about a lot, and it's really at a good price point, I think, given the daily chart even. Really good charts there. Another one that's had a lot of momentum recently, I actually talked about this yesterday, was SoFi. Man, SoFi is really ripping up here. That was a huge move this morning. I think if we could break above this double top here, right around $7.30, we might see a continuation. A lot of these stocks are really starting to boom up, and it's good to see this one also breaking a recent resistance, kind of like Zoom. Now, I will say SoFi's up a little bit more than Zoom from recent lows, but either way, it's has a lot of momentum short term, and it's one of those stocks that usually has pretty decent sized moves on average.
Boom. All right. And then with another stock I'm watching, we have Apple, and it's probably not the way you think. It's actually to the downside. And while Apple released a bunch of great technology today, and it's super exciting, at the end of the day, the charts and the price action don't lie. Apple stock had a pretty red day. They're pretty overbought on the daily chart, and they're falling even with good hyped up news right now. And when Apple falls, a lot of times it sets the tone for the rest of the market, and especially tech stocks. And Tom, when you go to that daily chart, Apple has some giant resistance right where it's at right now. It just broke all-time highs the other day, but the price action's not the best right now. So I'm watching it down for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, man, this is a big support. I could not believe that with the news, it actually traded down. I thought obviously the event was fantastic. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd with this stuff, so I love the headset and everything that they're doing with that. It looks amazing, especially compared to some of their competitors' headsets, like Meta's headset, for example. I think it blows theirs out of the water. I mean, Zuckerberg's probably pissed right now, but I'm with you. If it ends up falling down a little bit more, I think it can continue, just way too overextended on that daily chart. And man, this stock's also overextended, but I will mention it for momentum tomorrow, is Palantir. Palantir just keeps ripping up another almost 5% today. It was up 5% earlier in the day. If they get back above like 1550, I'm going to be watching for some calls again tomorrow. It just seems like this one's nonstop, and it also just broke a recent high. So hopefully we get a good continuation come in.
Perfect. Tom, I'm pretty excited for this week. We're seeing some stocks moving some awesome ways. Of course, we have that cool news with Apple, and the market's starting to, I guess you could say, slow down a little bit, but that's not a bad thing at all. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's so many big growth stocks lately popping up. I mean, even Chewy here getting close to recent resistance after their past earnings, going on a nice run. And I'm really happy that we don't have any big economic events this week, because next week is going to be insane. We're going to have the CPI report come out with the inflation rate. We're going to have the FOMC interest rate decision. So I'm really glad that this week we can really focus on the price action and some of these big stocks before Powell comes in and maybe changes everything.
All righty, there we go. Well, with that being said, let's jump right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Disney to the upside.
DIS, you got to love this stock here. Starting to really get some good momentum. It's been down a lot. If they can break above that 91.50 resistance, go ahead and watch for some calls.
All right, with the next one, we have Pfizer also to the upside.
Yeah, PFE, nice to see them popping up. If they break intraday resistance right around 38.70, look for calls. They hit there right around end of day and rejected a little bit.
All right, and then with the last one, we have AMD to the downside.
Yeah, AMD, I will say some of these other chip stocks did pretty rough today. Like AMD, during that Apple event, started selling off. If they fall under 117.50, watch them to the downside.
All right, so we have that downside level on AMD. If it breaks below that, we're watching it for puts. And then looking at Pfizer and Disney, we have the upside levels on those ones. If they break above those levels, we're watching them for calls. But it is now time for the big money $1.07 million trade of the day, and we are looking at REPL. Most people have never heard of this stock before, but that's not a bad thing, because when it comes to lesser known companies, sometimes they're actually more manipulated, believe it or not. And when you're on the same side of that $1 million trade, it can be pretty rewarding at times. So essentially this stock is a biotechnology stock focused on cancer treatment. The stock has been selling off a decent amount over the past couple years. Right now it's lingering right around $22.60. And someone basically dumped $1.07 million into the $22.50 calls for October 20th of 2023. I really like the risk reward ratio with this one, Tom. And, we all know that these types of cancer / biotech type stocks move big time off of news and catalysts.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, if this stock continues to get more news coming in, I mean, we could continue to see more big days like this. It was 19% today. I'm not saying it's going to be more 19%ers, but look at how this stock has trended up in the past. I mean, I think that there could definitely be some good momentum coming in here. This is a fun one to follow, Mike. Like you said, these cancer stocks / biotech stocks can go insane, and for good reason. Investors love stuff like this, and it's a good thing for the overall world. Like if they find something that would be amazing. So I like this stock, Mike. It looks like a pretty good trade to follow in the short term, it is a little bit risky. You know, these stocks always come with some inherent risk as they're always pretty volatile, but I do like the play. I like the strike they have being in the money now too.
There we go. Tom, I have to tell you, I'm very excited for this week. And there's one other thing I want to touch on, and that is just the market overall and these big tech stocks. Like I touched on earlier in the video, Apple's starting to fall, and when Apple falls, it kind of leads the way for everything else. They are the powerhouse of the market. And, you know, they're falling even with this good news. So I have to tell you, I am looking at these big tech stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. You could say QQQ, SPY, stuff like that to the downside for this week. It's not necessarily like I'm like, all right, go all into puts tomorrow. But I will tell you, I would not be surprised at all if we did see a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, the QQQ is insane. Like to see this indice, or I guess it's not an indice, ETF that follows, you know, an index up this much is insane. Like 40% plus. I mean, that is awesome there. In just, you know, since like the beginning of the year or back in October, that is really amazing there for QQQ. And some of these stocks in it, like Meta, Apple, and others are just insane as well. I'm with you, Mike. I think we might see a bit of a pullback come in. Now, it might not necessarily come tomorrow, and we have to keep in mind that it might not be all stocks, you know, like the big ones like Apple. Yeah, of course, like they might pull back. They're very overextended. But then on the other side of things, what are we seeing? Good news out of stocks like Disney. So it's like, you know, we could watch maybe some of these other stocks like Disney and Zoom rather than some of these big tech stocks. So I know it's, you know, Disney might be like a tech stock, but at the same time, I mean, their price action is totally different than most of those powerhouses.
No doubt. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. Besides that, guys, I think we're gonna have an amazing week. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let's crush it.